All right, thank you, Sarah. I want to give a quick presentation on the delegate selection plan for the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, August 19th through 22, where Democrats across the nation gather together, elect the presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate, as well as establish the platform for the Democratic National Party. The Oklahoma Democratic Party will convene a convention in Ardmore on April 6th, where we will elect our delegates to go to the convention in Chicago. We will also be electing our Democratic National committee man, and committee woman. That's currently David Walters and Kaylin Free. I haven't heard from them, but I suspect you will be hearing soon that they are running again. Um, we also elect members to the DNC convention standing committees of credentials, platform, and rules. So let's get into just how this is. March 5th, Oklahoma Democrats and Republicans will hold a primary for the President of the United States. This is Super Tuesday. Many states, March 5th, will be conducting primary elections also. The results from this election are used to allocate delegates to the convention. Candidate has to receive more than 15% of the vote. And the candidates are Dean Phillips, Joseph R. Biden, Armando Mondo Perez Serrato, Marianne Williamson, Stephen Lyons, and Jink Uger. He's from the Young Turks. The presidential candidate, as I said, must receive 15% or more of the vote statewide or in a congressional district to receive an Oklahoma delegate. Oklahoma Democrats get 40 delegates and 3 alternate delegates. There are 4 types of delegates. There are 4 automatic delegates. That's the party chair, state party vice chair, and our 2 DNC committeemen and committeewomen, which we will elect at the top of the convention. We get 8 at-large delegates. They're allocated across the statewide vote. We have 5 party leaders and elected officials, also known as PLEOs. And then there will be 23 district level delegates. If you want to go to the convention, that's your best shot to be a district level delegate. And the delegates slots are allocated according to past presidential elections. So if the district shows up strong, you get more delegates. So let's have a good turnout in CD3 so we'll get more delegates next time. Okay, so here's how they break down. CD1 gets 5 delegates. CD2, 3, and 4 get 4 each. Big old CD5 here in the Oklahoma County and region gets 6. So that's 5 plus 6 is 11. 3 times 4 is 12, makes 23. Boom, arithmetic adds up. All right, the delegates must be a fair representation of the Oklahoma Democratic Party. And what we mean there by Democratic Party is not our party leadership. It's not the people that show up at your county meetings. It's not. It is everybody in Oklahoma that is a registered Democrat. So we want to have male and female parity. We also wish to include the underserved, the marginalized, the underrepresented groups of the Democratic Party, which don't always find their way into leadership, don't always find their way to be active in the party, but we want to include them. We want to make them part of the delegation we send to Chicago to represent Oklahoma. So we have some goals for these affirmative action groups. Here's how the goals break down. African Americans, 16%. It's about 6, 7 delegates. Hispanic, 13%. It's about 5 or 6 delegates. Native American, 11%. That's about 4 or 5. Asian American Pacific Islanders, that's 3% or 1 or 2. LGBTQ plus, 7%, 3 to 4 delegates. People with disabilities, 20%. Ooh, 20% of 40 is 8. So we're looking for at least 8 people with disabilities to go to Chicago. And here's the biggest. How about the youths? How about all those Democrats between 18 and 35 years of age? We want a bunch of them. We want to get the young people involved in the party. And a good way to do that, send them to the national convention where they can see other Democrats, learn about the party, network with each other. It's going to be great. So anyway, 30%, 36% of our delegation, we want to be young Democrats, okay? So that's ages 18 to 35. 36% is, 14, 15. It's going to be great. All right. Now, these AA goals are aspirational. They're not quotas. However, we'd like to exceed those goals. We want the nation and the world to see what Democrats in Oklahoma look like, and that's young people and all the other mix of all these other groups. We are inclusive. We want them there. We want them in our delegation when the camera pans across the crowd. All right. To be a delegate, you have to be a registered voter in the Democratic Party in Oklahoma. Seems pretty obvious. Okay. At the district level, you need to be registered in that district. Okay. You might want to pull out the OVP, Oklahoma Voter Portal, and check to make sure your registration is current, up to date, and you're in the right district. Okay. If not, you can change some things on your voter registration online on your cell phone. If you're moving out of county, it's going to be an issue. Has to be paperwork. Anyway, the deadline for the March 5th election is February 9th. Next week, this week, whatever. Okay. So get with it. Open up that OVP and check yourself out. All right. The other things, you need to submit some paperwork to the state party. We have a couple of different forms. There's the Delegate Declaration of Delegate Candidacy, 2-page form. Now then, there's also a state delegate, I promise I swear, pledge and oath of support. All right. All of this is a single download from the ODP website, okdemocrats.org. And so you go get it, fill her out, ship it off to the party. Has to get there before March 8th at 5 p.m. So you might want to see what the unofficial results of the March 5th primary are before you decide who you're going to pledge your support to. Just saying. Okay. On the Declaration of Delegate Candidacy, there's a section 2, and that's where you say, I want to be a district level delegate. All right, now check all of these that apply. You can be a district level delegate, a PLEO, right? At-large delegate, alternate at-large, and then there's a little thing at the bottom and it says, well, I want to be an alternate if I didn't get elected in any of those other things. Check that too. All right. Now, the Pleos are have traditionally been some pretty big names in the party. Senator George Young was a Pleo delegate in 2020. So the competition is going to be tough, but it's just like the lottery. Even though the odds are slim, you got to buy a ticket to win. So check them or not, see what happens. All right. There is also an important part, section 3, where check all that apply are your gender, okay? I identify as non-binary. So if there's a ballot of Biden male delegates, I would appear on that. And if there's a ballot of female delegates, I would likewise appear on that. So choose wisely. Also, they have your age breakdown. That's going to help you if you want to be a youth going there. And then all the other breakdowns for Black, Native American, et cetera, people with disabilities. Check all of those that apply, because when push comes to shove, that can keep you on the list or even help to get you elected. All right. So you declare your presidential candidate, you're going to support, you're pledged to as a pledged delegate. Sign, date it. There's second page, you got to sign and date it too. The signature on the second page. You need a witness. If your form says you need a notary in yellow highlight at the top, you got an old form. Don't worry about it. You don't need a notary. All right, moving on .org. The second form is the state delegate pledge of support. And it looks just like the first one, kind of. It's pretty redundant. You already filled it all out. Just do it and don't worry about it. Okay. And then get them to the state party headquarters before 5 o'clock on Friday, March 8th. All right. ODP vets, the delegate. All right, so they get all these for them. They're going to vet everybody, make sure you're sure enough Democrat, make sure you're sure enough in Congressional District 3, et cetera. All right. And then they'll submit the list, because it's after the election. They'll say, okay, here's all of Biden's delegates and here's all Marianne Williamson delegates. And they'll submit that to the Biden campaign and the Marianne campaign. And the campaign has the right to strike. They strike a bunch of people, send back the list. All right. They also have the right to strike on the floor of the convention for the at-large delegates, which are elected last. All right. So we're going to convene in Ardmore on April 6th. And we're going to elect our delegations. And the first thing we do is elect our Democratic National Committee, committeemen, and committeewoman. All right. Then we break in to our district caucuses, and all of us CD3 folks will go wherever they tell us to go. And we will elect our 4 delegates. And they'll tell us how many are for Biden and how many are for Marianne. Or could be all Biden. All right. Then we reconvene as a whole body and we elect our party leaders and elected officials, the Pleos. Then we elect our at-large delegates. And if we don't hit our AA goals, they may scratch some people off the list so that we can hit our goals. for diversity and inclusion. So be sure to check those boxes if they apply to you. All right. And then we elect the alternate delegates. Here's the deal on alternate delegates. We get 3. Only an elected alternate can replace an elected delegate. So, if you want to be a delegate, you better have $3,000 to $5,000 in your pocket because you got to pay your own way, and you better have a hole in your calendar to attend the darn convention. This isn't, oh, I'll see if I can get off work. No, this is a commitment. You're going, and you're going to show up every day to the ding dong convention. So if you aren't able to do that, no sense running. All right. Okay, and then the final thing we do is to elect our representatives on the 3 standing committees. We get 1 each because we're such a red state. The bluer you are, the more people you get on these committees. So, all right. You do not have to be a delegate or an alternate delegate to be on these committees. However, these committees may not meet. They're going to meet before the convention, right? They're going to hammer out that platform so we can vote on it. They got to do credentials. They got to do the rules. So there are no proxy votes. So you need to be able to attend these committee meetings. They're called by the DNC, not the state party. So if you're going to stand, if you're going to be on one of these committees, you better be ready. Take care of business. There's no proxy votes allowed. All right, there it is in a nutshell. The state AA Affirmative Action Committee has a PowerPoint presentation, and you can invite them to your county at a regular meeting or a special meeting, and they'll be happy to give you a presentation. We're going to put up the contact information for Rachel Morse, Matt Lucas, and our own CD3, Amber Jensen in Woodward, Oklahoma, and they'll come to you and give you the more fulsome presentation, explains a lot more, and tells you what you can expect at the convention. Okay, that's it. Hit stop.